Guys, the word of the Lord today is do not destroy yourself trying to save others. Do not destroy yourself trying to save others. The Lord wants you to truly understand that every person has a choice. Every person has a choice. He wants you to truly understand what it is to walk in wisdom, to walk in understanding. Okay, so you want to have forgiveness, you want to have understanding towards individuals, but you need to also have God's spiritual understanding. Our natural understanding when we see things is either we're going to think this person's a problem and want to go against them, or we are so sympathetic to the situation that we get too involved and get hurt. All right. So God's perfect understanding, when you see things through the eyes of the Lord, you're going to be able to see what you can do to help. You're going to be able to know how to approach a situation, how long of a hand you should have in it, how long should you actually have your hand in the situation, how close you can get and for how long, and at what point do you need to step back and allow the Lord to do his perfect work. You see, a lot of times what happens with a lot of people is that you get so involved in a situation that you did not step back to let the Lord do his work with that individual. And that's going to come from the choices that they make. And guess what? You stepping out of the picture, because a lot of times you're in the way and they start to become consumed. They begin to become dependent on you rather than on God. So God wants you to do this. He wants you to be very careful that you do not allow yourself to become destroyed and pulled away in the process of trying to help somebody else. God calls us to pray for others. He calls us to be a help to others. But you must also know when it's time for you to stop and let that person go the rest of the way that they need to go to be in right standing with the Lord. A lot of you are getting destroyed. You're getting destroyed because you are putting all this effort and all this patience and all this because you think this is what I'm supposed to do as a Christian. I'm supposed to love. I'm supposed to give. I'm supposed to have patience. I'm supposed to have kindness. I'm supposed to have meekness. I'm supposed to have long suffering. Yes, these are the fruits of the Spirit, but you must also have the knowledge of God for how long, who, what, when, where, how, why. You must also have discretion of who, what, when, where, what, why, how. When. You need to also have what? So we said understanding of who, what, when, where, how, and why. And in everything, it's always going to boil down to that person's individual choice, what they choose to do. And you have to allow that to be. And it's not that you don't love the person. It's not that you have anything against them. But there is a time that you must step back, my brothers and sisters. God would tell you it's time to step back. You've been up close. You have bandaged. You have arterial blood stains on you for what they squirted on you. You put the tourniquet on them. You went in and you held their head onto that pillow and you fed them and you bandaged all their wounds and you put on that cast and you took all the cast off and you let them rest on your shoulder and hop and walk and you helped them go through the recuperation process. You have all of that. You have instilled with them. You have helped them. You stayed up with them. You wiped their tears. You did all these things. You went and you shopped for them because they were too sick. They were not able. You provided for them. You did all these things. My brothers and sisters, even though you may have done this in the natural, you're doing something spiritually, okay? You've done all these things. You've been there for them. You've been there for them. You understand? Now God is saying it's time for them to get up on their own. As you've had all your hands on with them, now it's time for you to step back. Because what happens when you have too much hands on and you're too close up, right? What happens is they begin to depend on you. They begin to look to you. They don't want to rehabilitate. They're not going to rehabilitate the way that they can, because if you're going to walk for them, then why should they walk? If you're going to lift the heavy stuff for them, then why should they do it? You understand? If you're going to shop for them, why should they learn how to shop for themselves? You understand that? So the Lord, and what was going to happen is that person's going to sit there being totally dependent on you, and the devourer is going to be able to come in and get them because they never learned, or they didn't get enough time. They're not conditioned, but you are. So God is saying, know when you need to be close up and in it, but this is a time to step out, because time is winding up. And if you continue to aid and abet a person, guess what? They're going to destroy themselves, and they're also going to destroy you, because you're actually deploying and you're actually using a lot of your resources and a lot of yourself to help a person that, listen, they're getting a lot of rest and relaxation. They're getting a lot of provisions from you, right? But guess what? You are giving all of yourself. God has shown me this, and I will tie up this video here. There could be somebody that they love to drink and drive. They love to drink and drive. So you put this as a person who has a habit, who has a stronghold, or something, okay? And you're always trying to stop them. You're always trying to stop them. Sometimes you're successful, but the next thing you get another call. He or she's at the bar. They're drunk again. Everybody got to try to fight them to get the keys out of their hands and all these different things. But they keep doing it. Why do you think they keep doing it? They keep doing it because, number one, it's like they know somebody's gonna come to save them. They're used to the process of arguing. You got to talk them out of it, and sometimes they want to fight you, right? Because they're drunk and all that. And the person just has this habit, and they like to drink and drive, and they insist that they got to drive, and you get in the car with them anyway, right? Sometimes you get to drive, and other times you're in the passenger side. Just listen, you shouldn't drink and drive. You shouldn't drink and drive. And God has shown me this is where a lot of y'all are at right now. You get in the car with a drunk driver, the person that just will not change. They will not take heed. Sometimes they stop, but the most time they don't. And you're going through this thing, talking to them. So now you got in the car with the drunk driver, and you're trying to stop them. But you're in the car with them, and you're trying to talk them out of it, but they still driving with you in the car. And what happens? What happens? Eventually they go into a car crash. And guess who dies? A lot of times the drunk driver is not the one that gets killed, but other people. People who are not drinking, following the laws, doing what they need to do. Innocent passengers, they get killed, and the drunk driver comes out with little to nothing. Sometimes they get killed in the car accidents too. But a lot of times drunk drivers, they live to get booked. They live to get the charges of, triple manslaughter, triple homicide. Or whatever. Well, not homicide, but they kill all these people. They live. So guess what? You're in the car with a drunk driver, talking them out of whatever, trying to convince them again. And guess what? They have a crash. You're the fatality, or other people are the fatalities. God is saying, know when it's time to pull out. Know when it's time to pull up. Know when, listen, don't get so concerned with trying to save somebody and trying to help somebody that you get destroyed, because that's what's going to happen to a lot of you. This is not the time for that. These are not the days for that. These are not the days for the coddling and the long extended phone calls and laborings. Because this is a time that people have to know God for themselves. You must have it in you to direct them straight to the Lord. Direct them to God. Direct them to God. This is the word of the Lord today.